Well, hi everyone, it's Bronnie here again for another day in Bronnie's world, and it's Super Saturday here with my superhero, the very famous, world famous Dr. Joel Wallach, who I absolutely adore and am having a ball getting to know just a little bit better than the average vet. Anyway, so today I have asked Doc to share with us things on diabetes. Now, not just how to treat it, but how it comes about, why it comes about, and why all of us can be susceptible to it, but we don't need to be. It's something that we can reverse quite easily if you are prepared to do what it takes. Now, it's not that difficult, I understand. But so why are we all suffering with it? And Doc, also, I have a few friends who are on dialysis who swear blind they don't have diabetes.
We can talk about that too.
So we will talk about that too, but let's cover the diabetes first. But yeah, I just wanted to let our listeners know we're going to cover this, and it's going to be, you're going to love it. And let's reverse this and make everyone's Christmas really great, because woohoo, you can get yourself on the road to not being insulin dependent or even never happen to ever go there. Right? So Doc, with no further ado, I'm going to hand it over to you because you're the one with all the smarts.
Okay, Bronnie, thank you so much. And I'll just start out by saying, if everybody would just do 2 or 3 simple things, we could eliminate diabetes on Earth. Diabetes is a simple nutritional deficiency. It's not genetic. It's not autoimmune. It's a simple nutritional deficiency disease. And if you have it longer than 90 days after you've been diagnosed, the doctor should go to jail. Okay, because he's just milking you like a dairy cow. Okay.
Which is sad.
Okay, very sad. Well, the record for longevity in the industrialized world is a French woman by the name of Jean Calment. She died in 1997. 122 years and 164 days. Okay, that's the record for the industrialized world. In the non-industrial,
hang on.
I'm sorry?
My cousin that's turning 100.
Oh, yeah.
Her name's Jean as well.
Well, there you go. And that must be, I'll rename myself Jean.
Yeah, maybe that's it. It just suddenly occurred to me when you said that. Like, how ironic is that?
Okay. Okay, let's see.
Apologies.
No, hey, no need to apologize, dear. Okay, let's see here. The life expectancy for the United States is 75. The life expectancy for Australia is 82.9.
Well, she's past that.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just talking about everybody in the United States. They can look forward to, if they do everything right, they can live to be 75. In Australia, if you do everything right, can live to be 83, 82.9.
Yeah.
Okay. So why is it you guys live 7 years longer than we do? Okay, that's interesting. New Zealand lives 82.3, Japan 84.7, Canada is 84, Italy is 83, Spain is 82, Germany is 81.26, and Sweden is 82.7. Okay, now Hunsas, who live in the small villages in the Himalayan mountains, they're surrounded by these volcanoes, which they're alive, and they constantly spew all this ash in the air, and it comes down into their ponds and their lakes and their rivers, but also in their fields. And when we started Youngevity, we didn't want to just grind up limestone and clay like everybody else is doing to put those minerals into their formulas, into their multiple vitamins and minerals. And so we looked for about 6 months. We came on to the Hunsas and realized their life expectancy is 120. Now, many of them live beyond that. That's just their life expectancy. Many live to be 125, 130, 140, 150, 160. And, but they're not part of the industrialized world, so they don't get counted in our statistics. So at any rate, that's why we chose to go with the plant-derived colloidal minerals. And when you look at it, we have products with 78 minerals in there. Most other products still have vitamin mineral products, they might have 6 minerals or something like that. Red Bull, that sports drink and energy drink, they only have 1 mineral, magnesium. Okay. And this famous fitness guru, Bruce Lee, he died at 32. And let's see here, he died at 32, and he was supposed to be the fitness guru in every country in the world. Bruce Lee, you've heard of him.
Yes,
He dies at 32 because he was eating gluten with every meal, and he only supplemented with magnesium. So that was a death formula. Okay, so here we go. Now we do have a new tool in town. Okay, there's a new bull in town. The reason why I say there's a new bull in town, it's kind of like a new sheriff in town, a new bull in town, because Red Bull only has one mineral in it, magnesium. We have 75 in our Rebound.
Yeah, it's a great drink.
A big difference, okay? And ours are plant-derived colloidal minerals, and we don't know quite where Red Bull gets their magnesium. Also, we have 25 vitamins and amino acids to go with that. So there's 100 nutrients in our Rebound sports drink. Red Bull has, let's see here, one mineral, magnesium, and 4 vitamins. So they have 5 nutrients and we have 100. Okay. And ours tastes good too. Okay. Now we do have 3 CDs to go along with this statement. There's a new bull in town. That's the title of the CD set. First one is Dead Athletes Don't Lie. You'd think that exercise would make you live longer, but exercise, if you're just exercising and eating badly, like Bruce Lee did, and not supplementing properly, like Bruce Lee did, you're not going to live very long. Exercise will kill you if you're eating badly and not doing all the correct things. So Dead Athletes Don't Lie. And that CD has stories about Olympic athletes and professional athletes who are dying in their 30s and 40s, okay, because they weren't supplementing properly or at all in many cases, okay? The second CD in the set is Exercise Without Supplementation is Suicide, same scenario. The third and last in the set is What Kills Billionaires. Now, billionaires can afford the best medicines, the best doctors, the best of everything, and yet their life expectancy is 66. The life expectancy of a professional athlete is 56 to 57.
I've passed that.
That's not right. Okay, there's something wrong there. Okay, and of course that's because we have the 75 minerals in there, and Red Bull only has 1. Okay, now let's see. I'm digging deeper here. Here we go. Australia. Okay, Australia. Got to get the accent right. And what we're looking at is the arthritis in the Australian population and diabetes. Okay.
Yeah.
Arthritis is a very common disease in Australia. The Australian population is 25,879,900. That's the last count I have, maybe a little more now, but that's a pretty good figure, 25,879,900. And 1 out of 6 Australians have arthritis. That's 3.9 million have doctor-diagnosed arthritis. Now, there's probably triple that. We have arthritis, but we're never diagnosed by a doctor because people say, oh, yeah, I got pain in my hip. I probably have arthritis. But they never go to a doctor for it. They take an aspirin or something like that, and it slowly gets worse over time. Okay. And then in Australia, you spend $3.75 billion, as would be a year, $3.75 billion a year just to treat the symptoms of arthritis, not to prevent or cure it. Each year in Australia, there's 100,000 joint replacement surgery, double knee replacements, double hip replacements, that kind of stuff. And because of osteoporosis and arthritis and so forth. And so, but this is a very simple nutritional deficiency disease, easily prevented, easily reversed for essentially pennies a day. And so nobody should be suffering anywhere in the world from arthritis or osteoporosis because they're just simple nutritional deficiency diseases. Now, the disease we talked about for Australia is diabetes. Type 2 diabetes, again, the population is 25,879,900. And there's 1.2 million people in Australia that are diagnosed, doctor-diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, okay? 1.2 million have type 2 diabetes. That's 4.9% of the total population. There's 280 Australians developed doctor-diagnosed diabetes each day in Australia.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's a lot. Now here it comes. 14.6 billion. $14.6 billion is spent each year just treating the pre-diabetics. Just treating the pre-diabetics. 14.6 billion. Okay. That's 14.6 billion. Treating the ones with full-blown diabetes. Okay. Okay. All right. I guess I'll have to get some more numbers. All right. Anyway, you get the idea. It's very expensive.
It'd be a lot more than the pre one, I would imagine.
Yeah, exactly. Pre-diabetes is only 2 million. There you go. Pre-diabetes in Australia is 2 million. That's not money, that's numbers of people. And the people with doctor-diagnosed arthritis is 1.2 million. Okay, easily gotten rid of. Now you have to appreciate that type 2 diabetes is a simple nutritional deficiency disease. It's not diabetic. It is diabetic. It's not genetic. It's not genetic. It's not autoimmune. It's a simple nutritional deficiency because these nutrients do not occur in a uniform blanket around the crust of the earth. They occur in veins like gold and silver. So there's places where there's very low diabetes in some of these countries around the world. And that's because they have lots of these nutrients in the soil. And so their carrots suck it out of the soil. Their tomatoes suck it out of the soil. Their corn suck it out of the soil. And their rice and potatoes suck it out of the soil. They're getting plenty of these nutrients. And so their diabetes rate and pre-diabetes rate is very low. Now, in these places where it's not in the soil, plants don't need these nutrients. Plants do not need the nutrients that are necessary to prevent type 2 diabetes. Plants don't need them. So you can't tell by looking at the vegetable or the fruit, say, oh, it doesn't have that nutrient in it, and so I won't eat it. I'll find somebody that does, okay? And so that's sort of the hiccup we have when it comes to the diabetes problem. Now, when it comes to Australia obesity, we can talk a little bit about that too. Okay, that kind of goes along with diabetes, but I will tell you, to get rid of diabetes, to get rid of the pre-diabetes, we call the healthy blood sugar pack.
Yeah.
Healthy blood sugar, that's hard to remember. The healthy blood sugar pack. And it has the healthy start pack, which is our basic program, the 90 essential nutrients, which all tissues need. Okay. 16 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 minerals, 3 fatty acids. But there's 2 nutrients that are necessary to prevent and reverse type 2 diabetes. Okay. And so we have a product called Sweeties, and you can take 2 or 3 of those at breakfast and 2 or 3 of those at dinner time when you have diagnosed diabetes or even undiagnosed diabetes. You can diagnose it yourself. You don't need to go to a doctor to get diagnosed with diabetes. You go to the pharmacy, without a prescription, get the test strips and do it yourself. Oh, I have diabetes. And so you need the healthy blood sugar pack. Yeah. That way it won't get on your record that you have diabetes. If you give yourself a couple of weeks and you'll get rid of it. It's very simple to get rid of because it's a simple nutritional deficiency. So I like the healthy blood sugar pack.
I actually take Sweeties as a prevention.
As a
prevention.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I take it as a prevention. Okay. It's part of the 90
prevention is cheaper than the cure.
I'm sorry?
They say prevention is cheaper than the cure.
Oh, it is. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You get an A+ there, dear. Okay, you're exactly correct. Okay. And so it's one of those things where the Sweeties, you don't have to have, as you say, you don't have to have diabetes to take it. And you can go over 100 years without ever getting diabetes, even if everybody in your family's got it. It's not genetic. You're taking, the healthy blood sugar pack, or you're taking the healthy brain and heart pack and throwing in our Sweeties. And people say, well, which one is it? Which one is it? I used to tell people which nutrients they were. And I'd call the family up, and maybe I hadn't heard from them. So I call the family up in maybe 3 months or so. And I say, well, how's Frankie doing? Well, he did what you said. He took that nutrient. There you go. He took that nutrient and he died. That's because he was missing the other 89.
Yeah. And that's what I love about what you've put together for us with longevity is
he only took one nutrient. You see, he only took one nutrient, and he got rid of his diabetes, but he died from something else because he didn't have the other 89.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And so that's when I stopped telling people what nutrient it was. It's because they all want to know what nutrient is it, because they just want to run to the store and, buy that bottle of calcium or buy that bottle of zinc or something like that. No, it doesn't work that way. That'd be like saying, you live in Texas, let's say, and you say, I don't waste money by buying oil to put in my car. You got to be an idiot to do that. I just, for 10 cents a quart, I get dirt from Texas. And I put 6 quarts of this dirt from Texas, and it cost me 60 cents. And there's bound to be some oil in there because that's dirt from Texas. Now, an idiot would not do that to their car.
No.
But yet, when you eat well and don't take supplements, that's like doing the same thing. It's like putting dirt from Texas in your car and not putting oil in your car. When you're just eating well and not taking your 90, okay? Because you're not testing your food.
It'd be a bit like, well, going to McDonald's doesn't make you a hamburger.
Yeah. And so, we have many, many ways to get the 90 essential nutrients. Okay, we have 5,000 products, and we deal with over 600 different health issues. And there's many, many people who will have 3 and 5 and 6 and 8 and 10 and 12 different health issues. Oh man, I've got bad genes. I've just got all these, everything my family had. I've got it all. Blah blah blah. No. Okay.
I hear that all the time.
Yeah, you hear that all the time. Oh, so you know the story. Okay. Well,
and just while we're on the diabetes side, I mean, when people get really bad, they usually go on dialysis. But I have a couple of friends actually who are on dialysis but claim they don't have diabetes.
Well, dialysis, Ronnie, is usually used for kidney issues. Okay. They'll have high blood pressure, and they'll have their kidneys won't be working. Okay. And so they do dialysis for that. Okay. And so it's one of those things where, okay.
But a lot of people with diabetes usually end up on dialysis unnecessarily.
Yeah. Yep.
And I've heard you actually talk about how you've helped people who have been on dialysis for years to actually wean themselves off it and never have it again.
Oh, yeah.
Share with us 1 or 2 of those stories.
It's very easy to wean off of dialysis. I'll repeat that. It's very easy to wean off of dialysis. We take people, Bronnie, that have been on dialysis for 25 years. Yep. The last 10 years, okay, they're on dialysis 6 days a week because they totally stopped urinating, and they're having dialysis 6 days a week. So we get them on our program, which is the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. That's our big package. It's a big hammer, we call it, with 215 nutrients, and the core is still the 90 essential nutrients. The core is still the Healthy Start Pack. But I like to, when they're on dialysis like that, I'll put them on 2 Healthy Brain and Heart Packs per month. And I also put them on 3 tablets twice a day of the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. It comes in that green bottle. Okay.
Yes, I have one right here. That one.
Oh, guess what? We're all thinking the same thing. Very good. Very good. You got it, girl. Okay. And so, and what happens is when you have a kidney issue, your kidney releases a hormone, okay, to raise your blood pressure, to drive more blood into the kidney for filtering.
Right.
That's why the blood pressure goes up when you have a kidney issue, because the kidney is releasing a hormone to drive the blood pressure up, to drive more blood into the kidney to filter it. Okay, so it's trying to help you. Okay, so we get them on the 2 Healthy Brain and Heart Packs. We get them on 3 tablets twice a day of the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets. And don't get off of the blood pressure medication. Okay, don't cold turkey off of that, but test your blood pressure every day. And as your blood pressure begins to come down, you can slowly reduce the medication for the blood pressure based on the numbers. And usually within 2 to 6 weeks, you'll be totally off the blood pressure medication. Your heart issues will be gone. The kidney issues will be gone. The blood pressure stuff will be gone. And you can call up the doctor and cancel all your all your dialysis, okay, because you don't need it anymore. But you do have to stay on the program. You can't say, I'm okay now, I don't need to take any of this stuff anymore. No, you need to take it for the rest of your life. Because if you quit, then within 3 months' time, you'll be back down in the hole again. You'll have all your symptoms again, okay? Because you're still not going to get all the proper stuff. So it's important to do everything correctly. Now, the other thing I want to talk about.
And they need to get off the bad foods.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Again, you get an A+. They got to get off the bad foods. Absolutely. No fried foods, no processed meats, bacon, ham, bologna, salami, hot dogs, pastrami, pepperoni, jerky, corned beef. All that stuff's got to go because of all the chemicals. And then no gluten, no wheat, no barley, rye, oats, no buckwheat. There's no gluten in buckwheat, but there is what's called phagopyrines, and phagopyrines are worse than gluten.
Oh, okay.
So no wheat, barley, rye, oats, and no buckwheat. No, let's see here, no sugar, and no carbonation. Carbonation neutralizes your stomach acid, which is designed to help you absorb minerals and digest food. So you cannot digest food or absorb minerals if you're taking, if you're consuming even the diet drinks that are carbonated, because people like it, well, because they think, I'm making my body think it's getting the good stuff, but there's no sugar involved, so they're just getting the carbonation. No, don't do that. Okay.
I actually have quite a few people actually that I'm trying to help, and they can't figure out. They tell me, "Oh no, I've been gluten-free for years," but they drink 2 or 3 or 4 cans of Coke a day. But it's the diet one, so it should be fine. I'm going, no, it's the carbonation, and I cannot get that through to them. There's the carbonation is the issue. No.
Well, it's sad. It's a sad story, but every time there's an epidemic, there's people who will die who could have been saved because they're stubborn.
Yeah.
Okay, and so it's a sad nature. It's kind of like you go back in time during the Old Testament, 3,500 years ago, and the New Testament, 2,000 years ago. There were messages in those writings, to help you live a longer, healthier life. Some people, and they ignore it, and then they pay the price. They die early. Okay, so in the 1700s in the United States, I don't know about the rest of the world, but in the United States, in the 1700s, the life expectancy was 37 years old.
Wow, that's not very long.
Wasn't very good back then. That's because everybody was eating wheat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and they thought they were doing good. Oh, we're eating the breakfast of gods. We're eating wheat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Okay, and they were killing their intestines like Bruce Lee did, and he died at 32. Didn't make it to 37.
No.
Okay, so let's look at obesity here. 67% of adults 18 years old and older are considered overweight in Australia. 75% of men and 60% of women are diagnosed with a weight problem, overweight or obesity. Okay, obesity is greater than 25 pounds overweight of that 67% of the population. Okay, 36% are overweight and 31% are obese. The cause of obesity is nutritional deficiencies causing a behavior called pica, where people just eat and eat and eat and eat. In horses, they call it cribbing, where they stand there in the stall and they just chew on the gate, or they chew on the fence. It's called cribbing. Why do they call it cribbing? Because the bars that restrain the horse in that barn are similar to the bars that restrain the kids in the crib. They're chewing, when the kids are minerally deficient, they're chewing on that top rail, so they call it cribbing, like the horses. I don't know who got it first, the horses or the kids. Probably the horses, okay? And the cause of obesity, nutritional deficiencies cause pica, the behavior, and pica leads to cravings and not being satisfied. And they might eat 25 meals a day, okay? And so this whole thing happened in 1882 when we went from wood and coal to electricity. A hair analysis, okay, and my book, Rare Earths and Cures, go to chapter 1011, page 272. It'll tell you how to cut your hair, how to box it up, where to ship it to. Don't forget to put the check in there because the labs won't run the test without the check. And you're going to find out what your nutritional minerals are doing. Are they all below the bottom line? That means you're eating too much gluten and buckwheat and that kind of stuff. And so your intestines are dead. You cannot absorb nutrition, even if you're supplementing with it. Okay. And if they're all over the place, that'll be more common. I wouldn't say normal because we have to see the numbers, but it's more common that they're going to be all over the place. And then you have a second chart you get, which is the toxic minerals like lead and mercury and uranium and others. Okay. And so I like for people to get a hair analysis once a year, especially if you travel, because you don't know what you're getting in restaurants and this that, and the other. You're picking up bad stuff, and you think you're gluten-free, but you're eating gluten twice a day and you don't even know it, kind of stuff. And then so this hair analysis is imperative. Okay. Let's see here. The solution, of course, is in 90 essential nutrients, no bad foods to maximize absorption. The book Hell's Kitchen tells you about the transition from wood and coal as fuel, and our wood ashes and coal ashes as our source of minerals. And of course, it was in our United States, our U.S. Senate came out in 1936 with a document. It was U.S. Senate document 264. And they said in 1936, there's no longer sufficient amounts of minerals in our farm soils in America to support healthy human life. That's 1936. It's so obvious, even the U.S. Senate.
And still people don't believe us.
Then people don't believe it. But see, they have nothing to gain because they're not selling a product or anything like that. And so they're just giving you the facts. Okay. And so.
Well, doctors don't want to tell you that either. They just say, oh, no, just eat well and you don't need a supplement, you'll be fine. And like I said, if it's not in the ground, not in the soil, it can't be in your foods. It'd be awesome if it was in the soil, but.
Yeah, well, see, you can your plant foods can actually make vitamins. Plants make B vitamins, vitamin A, vitamin C. They make vitamin D. They make the first one that people knew about was vitamin C and scurvy. Yeah. And they used to call the British people limeys because they learned if they ate limes every day, they could avoid scurvy. Now, they didn't know it was then the limes to prevent and cure scurvy, but they were called limeys because the British were the ones who just ate limes 3 times a day to prevent and cure scurvy. So they called the British limeys. Most people don't know why they were called limeys, but that's why.
Yeah, and I wonder if a lot of the British people do that today. I don't think they do. Most seamen do. I think seamen would.
But yeah, a lot of the people.
It was because of the semen that happened.
Yeah, and of course. Usually on land-based people, they would get scurvy during the wintertime when fresh fruit was not available. But when you were on the ocean, in sailboats all the time, you couldn't get fresh food until they started, because limes have the hard skins like lemons and oranges and grapefruit and stuff like that. And so you could put them on your boat and have the limes there for a couple of weeks or a month or so without them getting bad, and that kind of thing. And so that's how the sailors were able to get rid of scurvy with the limeys. Okay, so I could go on and on, but I do want to remind everybody that it's one of those things where you take your 90 essential nutrients and you'll begin to lose a half a pound to 2 pounds a day. Take the 90 essential nutrients. I don't know if you have this in Australia. We have a something that actually helps you lose weight faster. It's called the keto shake.
No,
keto shake.
We don't have a keto shake in Australia, but we have the 2 fit shakes, the banana and the chocolate one, and we have the TMR.
But you do have our shakes, but not the keto shakes.
Yes, we have the 2 TMR ones, and we just got the plant-based one as well. The one that Dr. Laura and Stan did. We've literally just got that added to our website, which I haven't been able to get on because the website wasn't working
if you
yesterday.
need to lose more than 25 pounds, that's the one you want to take. It's a meal replacer. It's not to add to a meal, but you give up your meal and just take that shake, okay? And that will speed up that weight loss, okay? But it's a meal replacer. And again, a hair analysis will be extremely valuable. And again, that book, Rare Earths and Cures, chapters 10 and 11, starts on page 272. That is invaluable information on your health. And you don't need a doctor's prescription to do all the stuff that that book says to do. And to me, I want to do things myself. I don't want to go pay some guy to do something I can do.
Well, the same, especially when when you get to a point where you can't trust them. I mean, our doctor told my husband because he used to go for a medical check every couple of years, just to do that. For no other reason. He wasn't sick or anything. And after he had turned 60, because he's now 69, the doctor wanted to put him on statin drugs. And my husband said, what for? And he said, because you're over 60. And he said, but there's no health reason for me to do that. No, but you're over 60. And he said, no. And our doctor knows.
He's very smart. Yeah, you do not want to take statin drugs. 25% of your brain weight and 25% of your spinal cord weight is cholesterol. If you get on statin drugs and stop eating eggs and everything with cholesterol in it, within a year or two, you'll have Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, okay, those kind of things. And you will be in big trouble, okay, because then you go to the doctor, oh my gosh, they love it. They put you in these institutions, they put you in hospitals, you come in every week, they do this test, they do this, and they amputate that. They put you on 10 drugs, and sometimes insurance will pay for some of it, sometimes it won't, okay? And it's one of those things where doctors make their living by turning the community into a dairy herd.
Yeah. Well, I'll never forget the day the doctor wanted me to do one of those tests.
They ring the bell and you come in and you get your stuff and they get paid a check every month.
Well, that's right. Well, I remember the doctor wanted me to do this test, right? Now, I'm dyslexic, Doc. I'm dyslexic. And numbers is an issue with me. And he wanted me to count backwards from 100. And I said, I can't do that at the best of times, not at this when you want me to do it. So I can't do it at the best of times. I never have been, not with my dyslexia. It's something I've never been able to do. And so, he could have diagnosed me with Alzheimer's just because I couldn't count backwards from 100. I mean, what a stupid test that is. I don't know too many people who can count backwards from 100.
Yeah, not that much anyway. I can go 3, 2, 1. That's about it.
Same. If he told me to do it from 10, I could have done it. But anyway, but I just think it's the most silliest test ever. And don't you go and diagnose me with something I haven't got just because I can't do that, and I've never been able to do it. So anyway, listen, and I've actually I've come across a few people, Doc, who now I know the answer to this, but I want you to explain this a little bit better. Who have, and this is just recent. I ran into this one particular lady recently who ended up in hospital with a diabetic coma. They didn't know what was wrong with her when she was there, because she never had diabetes all her life, and she's roughly my age, maybe a couple of years younger. And they have told her, and she's adamant that they are correct, that she's got type 1 diabetes. And I try to say to her, but you can't have type 1 diabetes and only have just developed it.
As an adult, you'd be born with type 1 diabetes. You'd be born with type 1 diabetes.
Yeah.
But, when you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old, you're not going to get type 1 diabetes, you get type 2.
Right. She's in her 50s. And I can't convince her. The doctors have her absolutely convinced, because she was 10 days in hospital on death's door before they figured out what was wrong with her and told her she had type 1 diabetes. And that's what they're treating for. Okay,
well, let me ask you a question. If this lady has a habit of falling asleep, after meals, with a half hour after meals, and she'll be watching TV or talking to her friend and just fall asleep, do you know if she has that problem?
No, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, you need to ask her that problem. Does she get drowsy within an hour after eating lunch, breakfast, dinner, so forth? And this is called reactive hypoglycemia, because when people eat a meal and they don't have enough of the hormones, or they have too many of the hormones, one or the other, the blood sugar drops. And that's why people cross the center line on the highway and do head-on collisions with oncoming traffic and kill themselves and somebody else. And when they do the drug testing of the body at autopsy, they can't find any drugs in them. They're just throwing up their hands. Well, why'd they cross the center line? You think they're on drugs and they knock themselves out with the drugs. They're not on drugs. Why they cross the center line? Well, that's because they have reactive hypoglycemia, okay? And the insulin they put out from their pancreas, okay, and the islets of Langerhans put out the insulin, knocks their blood sugar down, and they don't have all the nutrients to protect the normal range of blood sugar. Okay, so when their insulin is released during a meal or a snack, it knocks their blood sugar down, and that's why they get drowsy and fall asleep. Okay, totally easily reversed, but they got to get rid of all the bad stuff, as you pointed out earlier. Okay, no fried foods, no processed meat, no oils, no cooking oils, no salad dressings, no gluten, no wheat and barley oats, no buckwheat. So you get rid of the phagopyrenes don't let people say, well, there's no gluten in buckwheat. That's true, but there's phagopyrenes in there. Okay, and so they'll kill you faster than the gluten will. Okay,
I wonder what else has that in it.
I'm sorry?
I wonder what other foods have that in it.
I haven't explored that, but there's possible the phagopyrene is in other foods. You know, I should probably find that out. That's a good question. I will make an effort to find that out. But I want to point out that we get rid of all of the average diseases, you know, like diabetes, high blood pressure, arthritis, osteoporosis, dental problems, receding gums, headaches, dizziness, ringing in the ears, deafness, constipation, diarrhea, appendicitis, celiac disease, irritable bowel syndrome, heart disease, coronary artery disease, Alzheimer's disease. We get rid of all those are just simple nutrition.
Disease.
Gallbladder.
I've got a friend who just got diagnosed with that too.
Did you say gallbladder?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, gallbladders. When you get gallstones in there, that means that you're maybe dehydrated. You could have you're not getting enough nutrition to your liver, and it's not making normal bile, and so it clumps up and instead of being powder like it's supposed to be. And of course, the good Lord gave us a gallbladder and the ability of the liver to make bile so it can absorb fat soluble vitamins like A, D, E, K, that kind of stuff. Also, good fats like essential fatty acids, EFAs, and EFA pluses require bile from your gallbladder to do that. And when people say, oh, yeah, you got this terrible pain in your stomach, let's just take your gallbladder out and see if that works. They take the gallbladder out, and now suddenly they create other things because there's no gallbladder to accumulate, say, 2-3 ounces of bile and then squirt it into the intestines when you're eating so you can absorb all those nutrients. Okay, so now you have a problem. Okay, and that's just because the doctor didn't know what the problem was, so he created another problem. So now you have 2 problems instead of 1.
Yeah, well, sadly, that's what they want to do. They just want to remove the gallbladder. So I'm trying to convince her otherwise to give me 90 days. So.
Yeah, so that's why we have the gallbladder in a bottle. We make that available to people. It's the gallbladder in a bottle. It's called Ultimate Enzymes. Okay, it's our ultimate enzymes, but we put bile in there. We get bile from cattle that are killed at the slaughterhouse. We get their gallbladders, dry all this bile out, and then put, you know, like a certain amount of bile in each of our ultimate enzyme tablets. Okay, so when you're taking that, you're not only getting the digestive enzymes to break down the proteins and that kind of stuff, and the carbohydrates and fats and so on, but also you're getting the bile to absorb the good nutritional fats, including the fat soluble vitamins and the good cholesterol and all that kind of stuff. So that's why we made that one. So nobody should, you know, nobody should have their gallbladders taken out.
I am shocked at the number of people I come across who have actually had it removed. And it's all thinking, oh my goodness, why would it be the first thing you do? Why not find a better way first?
Well, my doctor said, that's what they always say, my doctor said,
yeah.
And of course, again, that's why I want everybody to get that set. Dead athletes don't lie. Exercise without supplementation and suicide, what kills billionaires? And it goes into that. Now, I do have another CD, which we're going to start making available again. It came out, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, and we got busy doing other things, and we stopped making it. It's called Dial MD for Murder.
Okay.
Dial MD for Murder. Have you ever heard of the movie Dial M for Murder?
Yeah.
It's a classic movie, Dial M for Murder.
Yes.
Well, each year, every medical association has to come up with a summary of how many people were killed in each hospital or clinic by doctors. Okay, they gave them an infection during surgery or examination, and they died a couple of days after, they were inoculated with the bug, a virus, a bacteria, whatever. They anesthetized them, and they gave them too much anesthesia and killed them with an overdose of anesthesia. Okay, they cut them open, and they go to slice through some fat, and they cut their aorta in half. They bleed to death in 3 seconds. Okay, and so all these things they have to report each year. Now, there's doctors walking around in hospitals in every industrialized nation, including Australia and New Zealand. There's doctors walking around in your hospitals who kill 10, 15, 20, 30 patients every year through these various accidents and missteps. Okay. Now, but the patients, the families have signed a thing saying that they won't hold the doctors responsible if there's a bad outcome. Which is, this is a recommended procedure, but anything can happen and so forth. So we do want you, if we're going to do it, you have to sign this paper saying if something bad goes wrong, you won't blame us and sue us. Oh, okay. They just want to get rid of the pain. So they sign that agreement. And these doctors are walking around these hospitals and clinics, and they've killed, over 20, 30 years. Every year they kill 5, 10, 15, 20 people from these accidents, infections. So that we're going to make that CD available again here starting next week. Dial MD for murder.
I just don't know how they get away with it, but well, I kind of do actually, because I did do a law unit on health, and
yeah, well, the problem is
high distinction for that too. I did, let me tell you.
Yeah, well, the problem is here, Bronnie, is that the patient is uncomfortable. The family is tired of hearing the complaining and all this kind of stuff. They're tired of paying this money every month to deal with the problem. Well, yeah, let's do this procedure and it'll solve the problem. It'll all be gone. And so finally, the patient, okay, they submit to it, and then something bad happens. Okay.
They either die or they end up with even more problems.
Exactly. You got it. That's why you get an A+.
Solve anything at all. They just made things worse. Which is what we're here for as certified holistic health coaches, following the Doc Wallach message, is to help you overcome that and stop all those constant medical bills unnecessarily.
Yeah.
And
give us 90 days.
I mean,
give us 90 days. Give us 90 days.
I mean, if you break a bone, fine, you need to get that straightened back out and that's the stuff. But you still got to take.
You're still in danger when you go to the hospital to get that bone set and a cast put on. You're still at risk of dying. Okay. Yeah. Even though it's something that could be fixed safely. They call the doctor in, and he's been out drinking all day in the park. Okay, and he comes there, he's intoxicated. They don't give him a blood alcohol test before he jumps in there, and he does the surgery. And I forgot to put my surgical gloves on. He's got his dirty hands he's just wiped his bottom with, and he used to poop bacteria in the patient. The patient dies in 2 days.
It's sad. Okay, so, it's sad. I was a nurse in my younger days, and the things you saw some stuff. Just, I'm thinking, oh my Lord. and what makes me sadder still, we were pretty tight and rigid, because I did my training in a cardiac hospital, so we'll have to do heart one day. Okay, next week we'll do heart. But anyway, and we had really strict rules, hair up, everything. Now they don't even wear their hair up. They don't wear nurses' caps or anything. And I loved wearing my nurse's cap because it helped keep my long hair up, and they don't do any of that. And I'm thinking, oh my Lord, no wonder we got so many infections and stuff now.
That's correct. It's all due to missteps in procedure. Okay, missteps in procedure. And that's why, we have the book, Dead Doctors Don't Lie. The only time a doctor won't lie is when he's dead or she's dead. And then, of course, we have CDs to go along with it. The CDs are in 9 languages. It's even in Australian.
I can only speak one language. I actually know two. I can speak Australian and I can speak American. That's three, and I can speak English.
Well, there you go. Very good. Let's see here.
So in your terms, I can speak 3 languages.
Well, there you go.
But anyway, I did learn
All
French
right.
at school, but I don't know a lot of it. Anyway, I know you've got to fly off to the Philippines and all that too soon.
Yep. And so, at any rate, we do want you to get a hold of that 3 CD set for your people, for your group. Okay. The 3 CD set is, there's a new bull in town. Okay, dead ass. Let's see, what is it? I have to find it in the pile so I don't say it wrong.
Dead athletes don't lie.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Dead athletes don't lie. Exercise without temptation of suicide. What kills billionaires? And the title of the CD set is There's a New Bull in Town. Wow. Red Bull and me. Okay. And then, of course, we also have the book and the CD. It's all in your head. There's 37 different diseases plus the nutritional program to get rid of them.
I have the book. I don't have the CD yet.
Okay. There you go.
Came out after
my favorite page is page 6 in the front of the book. Okay. It's there we go. As my favorite picture in the book. The top picture is a normal skull in a human being.
All right.
It's a quarter of an inch thick. The bottom skull is one with osteoporosis, and they're getting up 8-10 times a night to urinate. They have ringing in their ears. They have a balance problem. They have to use a walker. They can't walk without a walker. They had Bell's palsy. One side of their face droops. They've lost their sense of smell. Their voice changes. They can't swallow correctly. They have back problems because the skull is squeezing. The spinal cord, again, they're getting up at night 3, 4, 5, 8, 10 times a night to urinate because the skull is squeezing the spinal cord. The spinal cord is telling your urinary bladder to pee. And this picture says it all. Yeah. This picture says it all. I mean, you don't have to be an idiot to figure out that there's going to be a difference in how the nerves are affected as they go through the tunnels. Because 12 pairs of cranial nerves are made in the brain, go out through 12 tunnels, 12 on one side, actually 24 tunnels, 12 on one side, 12 on the other. And then there's a big hole in the back of the skull where the spinal cord comes out of. And when those tunnels are like 10% of the inside diameter they're supposed to be because of this, okay, that's when you get all these diseases. And doctors will send you to their classmates and you'll get hearing aids, you'll get surgery, you'll get drugs for pain and stuff like that. And when really, you just get off all the bad foods and take your nutrients, in weeks, it's all gone.
Yeah. Well, our eldest son was born slightly, well, they say he was either born deaf or lost his hearing in the early years of his life, like the early days.
Yeah.
But he speaks so well because I actually taught all my kids, when I taught them to speak, I put their little hands on my esophagus and then on theirs, and because the doctors wouldn't believe me, he had a hearing problem because he said, but he speaks too well. He speaks so well. But, you know, if I could reverse it for him, he'd be a very happy boy.
Okay. Well, it's never too late to do something.
Well, he's 40 now.
Oh, good. Congratulations. You must be very proud of him. Okay.
I am proud of all our children.
How many kids you have?
Well, I have 4 biological and 1 that's kind of adopted.
Okay, I understand. Okay, well, congratulations. We're very proud of you. And the fact that you were a nurse, a trained professional health caregiver. And now, did you retire or quit or?
No, I actually, at 25, I was paralyzed and no one knows why. I just walked in off night shift one morning and took 2 steps in the front door and collapsed, and from the waist down couldn't move a thing, and I actually literally had to crawl around on my arms. That's all I could use, pull myself around in my arms, and so I had to give it away.
Yeah, osteoporosis.
Yeah, I know that now, but that and no doctor then or now could give me any reason until I came across you. And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Haha."
They know nothing about this. They know nothing about this
I
because
taught
they don't want
myself
to.
to walk in. I fixed myself.
Yeah.
I
And
did it
so,
all
yeah,
myself.
and
No
well,
help
it's
from any of them.
imperative. It's imperative that we take care of ourselves
Mm.
because the doctors, their first move is to make you feel better. So they give you a drug that masks the symptom, and the disease is still progressing quietly, underneath the lights. Okay. And so then 2 years later, say, oh, I thought it was gone. I haven't had a problem in 2 years, and suddenly now it's back 10 times worse than it was originally. Well, that's because the drugs that the doctor gave you did not deal with the cause of the disease, just dealt with the symptoms.
Yeah, well, I didn't take any drugs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know what I did. I just always looked for natural things. And in fact, most people don't even know that story because I just kept to myself. And my husband and I were both terrified that they would take our children away. So I just did whatever I could from the little knowledge that I had and being a farm girl as well, and just worked on it myself.
Well, that's very good. See, so you have a lot to offer to people when they get in our program and they start getting our program with our Healthy Brain and Heart Pack and Healthy Blood Sugar Pack and Healthy Bone and Joint Pack and so forth, Healthy Digestive Pack. When they get on our programs, you have experienced that you can walk them through this. And once they calm down and they see they're getting some benefit, they can say, okay, now what do I do to just totally get rid of it? Okay, well, let's sit down and talk about that. We can, be a little more aggressive here and totally get rid of these things and add 25 to 50 healthy years to your life. And, your cost is going to be the cost of your nutritional products, and you're going to pay wholesale. You pay wholesale. You don't pay the full retail price. Okay. And there's ways you can get an auto ship, which we pay the shipping. Okay. We pay the shipping for auto ship there in Australia, right?
Yes, we do. And shipping is extremely high here.
Yeah. And so why not let us pay for it?
Yeah.
And the patient get the benefit of the supplements. Okay. It's a win-win situation. And so I really appreciate you doing this Zoom on a weekly basis. This is great. Let's keep doing this for the next 600 years. Okay.
Yep, I'll be in that.
Oh,
I have no issues living 600 years. I feel like I'm getting healthier and healthier every day. Sorry.
well, yeah, that's the way it should be. Every day of your life, you should be getting healthier and smarter and more experienced and more knowledgeable and so forth. And I try to make more information available to all of our health coaches. Are you a health coach?
I definitely am. I'm a certified
Oh, yeah, health coach. Yeah, with your nursing background, holy moly. And so you want to get this 3 CD set. There's a new bull in town into your group. Okay. There's a new bull in town. Dead Athletes Don't Lie, Exercise Without Temptation to Suicide, and What Kills Billionaires. You think that billionaires, they could afford anything. I mean, the most expensive medications, the best, they could go anywhere in the world and get the best treatment. But their average lifespan, their life expectancy is only 66.7. The average American's life expectancy is 75. I'm sorry?
Living the high life is actually killing them.
Living the high life is killing them, and they're not taking the supplements.
Exactly.
We're eating well. Come on. I mean, I'm paying $100 for a dinner in a restaurant. Okay, is what they say. Nobody eats as well as we do. Well, if you're measuring the nutritional value of food by how much you pay for it, you're in the wrong tent.
Exactly. Because if you grow your own, it's going to cost you less than.
Well, that's why we have the Bloomin' Minerals fertilizer,
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And so if you want to be have a home garden, that's good. Grow some of your own vegetables and fruit. And we have orchards on the property, and we grow, I don't know, like 6 different fruit trees. We have grapes. We have carrots. We have potatoes. We have beans. We have all kinds of stuff that we grow. ourselves, and we're putting our blooming minerals fertilizer on them. So we know we're getting a lot of minerals that way. Plus we're drinking,
Red
you know, the
Bull.
rebound.
Now you got me saying Red Bull instead of round. You know what my husband calls rebound? He calls it Roundup. Because he thought that's what I was saying when we first got it. And I go, Dave, it's not Roundup, it's Rebound. Oh,
The
well,
Roundup is an agricultural chemical.
I know what. Yeah, he knows what that is.
Okay, well, I'm going to thank you, dear, for such a, you know, a great opportunity to share with our Australian family. And again, when I was in the Air Force, I spent a lot of time in Australia, so I feel like I'm, you know, one of your own, one of your brothers and sisters. And so let's look forward to a day, you know, in the future, near future, when I can get out to Australia again and be with you. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great. And then I can give you a big hug. Well, okay. Well, we'll let Doc go because he's got to fly off to the Philippines for a Zoom in a minute. So, as I say here in Bronwyn's World, guys, remember to stay safe, stay informed, be empowered, but do not live in fear, my friends. And when you're getting the knowledge you need to better yourself so you can eliminate things like diabetes, arthritis, all sorts of stuff, we can go on.
Obesity.
The list is huge. You then too will be powerful, beautiful, brilliant, and most definitely very brave. God bless you all. And I'll catch you again tomorrow here in Bronwyn's World. And Doc will catch you next week. Wait, if you want, you can catch Doctor for a Q&A at 2 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time every Saturday. I'm not sure whether we'll do it Christmas Eve. I'll have to ask Jamal about that. But anyway, definitely this Saturday, today, at 2 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, you can come and get a Q&A. So just let me know and I can send you the link for that. So, all right, with no further ado, we're going to shut it off and say goodbye to the Doc for another week. Thank you. Bye.